Our News from the Hill segment tonight, President Trump versus Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Reportedly, the president has begun referring to Attorney General Sessions behind closed doors as Mr. Magoo. Publicly, the president took to Twitter to lambaste Sessions for how the Attorney General is handling the investigations into FISA abuses. The president tweeted, "Why is Attorney General Jeff Sessions asking the Inspector General to investigate potentially massive FISA abuse? Will take forever, has no prosecutorial power, and already late with reports on Comey, etc. Isn't the Inspector General an Obama guy? Why not use Justice Department lawyers? Disgraceful." Attorney General Sessions pushed back at that accusation, releasing a statement that read, "As long as I am the Attorney General, I will continue to discharge my duties with integrity and honor, and this department will continue to do its work in a fair and impartial manner according to the law and Constitution." With me now to break this down from the Center for Security Policy, Fred Fleitz. Fred, good to see you.
Hey, Liz, good to be here.
All right, Fred, break this down for me. So Michael Horowitz is the Inspector General that they're both referring to. Talk to me about why Jeff Sessions chose to leave this to the Inspector General or to empower the Inspector General with this, and why President Trump would not want him to do that.
Well, I might add that Horowitz was confirmed, and he was nominated by the Trump administration and confirmed by the Senate, but he is a career Justice Department official who served in Republican and Democratic administrations. So one would say, why not let him investigate it? Well, here's the reason. I have experience working for Inspector Generals at the State Department and the CIA. They tend to protect the careerists, Liz. For example, at both CIA and State Department, they don't have permanent staffs. A good portion of the staff are rotated in for temporary 1- and 2-year tours, and guess what? Those people protect their home offices. I really have a problem putting anything this politically sensitive in the hands of people who are probably not going to be objective and are going to protect the careerists.
Right, which is understandable. That's part of the swamp or the deep state that you and I have talked about many times. Critics are saying that if Attorney General Sessions used Department of Justice lawyers to investigate essentially abuses within the Department of Justice, it would be one of those convoluted investigations, almost an internal investigation where an entity is investigating himself. Is there credibility to that claim?
I think that charge would be made, and there also would be criticisms of bias, that Sessions was naming his people to investigate it. And I'm afraid that that's the best way that it should be done. There will be criticisms of bias, but frankly, I think that Sessions either should name somebody really independent from outside the department, or he should have his people do it. I just think these inspector generals, from my experience and from many other people I know, they tend to protect the careerists. It's not the right way to investigate these things.
Right, and you know, I have been very open about my skepticism about special counsels and special prosecutors because they're given far too wide of a leverage in what they do. Robert Mueller is a perfect example of that. Is this a case that there should be someone separate from either of those two entities, not the Inspector General, who may be a careerist, not the Department of Justice, because how can you investigate yourself and, I guess, escape the appearance of bias at least? Should this be a case for a special counsel?
No, but you know, there's some imaginative ways I think this could be done. For example, I always thought that when there was a serious issue within the CIA, they should have the NSA Inspector General investigated. That way you have people who are not part of that bureaucracy. It might be more objective. I think there's ways to do it without, I'm with you, I don't like special counsels. They just get out of control, and I don't think we should be naming another one.
Right, so who theoretically would be someone who would be an appropriate person for this investigation, both with the credentials and with, I guess, any political ties? It's hard in Washington, I think, to find someone who doesn't have a tie to somebody, but who would be the right person for this job?
You know, I'm not sure what the answer to that would be. I would first try to put Senate-confirmed officials who Trump named at the Justice Department to oversee it. But in terms of somebody from outside justice, frankly, offhand, I can't think about who that would be.
Right, it's an interesting situation. I think there are probably valid points on both sides. Interesting analysis, Fred. Thanks for coming on the show.